welcome to Hazel's Hostels, where I, Hazel, guide you through hostels around the world. And today we're heading to somewhere I never thought I'd actually go to, Kowloon. Nestled in the north side of Hong Kong, Kowloon is the mainland part of the territory. It is often thought to be the older side, with reporters and photographers constantly labeling this as the dark side, or the walled city. It has a very rich history, and it's somewhat dark at that. But don't worry, Kowloon has nothing to be particularly scared of, especially today. But back when the British ruled, the majority of the white British and ultra-rich lived on the island side, making room for the actual citizens of Hong Kong on the small peninsula. Even today, though poverty can be found on both sides, you can still get a feel for the extreme hardness of life of the past 100 years. But that's just what I was looking for, the history and the culture of Hong Kong. And that's what you'll find here. So thankfully, check-in is super easy. When you're walking up, you'll most likely see the security guard who can point you to the right doors to go through, but it's gonna be over here to your left. It was pretty packed when we arrived, and they do have lockers for you to leave your stuff and come back, but there's plenty of room to wait and check out if you'd rather. They also carry a wide range of things at the front desk if you need them, for a price. But that's still pretty cool. And just to help, $20 in Hong Kong is roughly $250 USD. So this hostel may not look like much, but it is very secure. When you get to check in, you'll get a card, and you'll need that card to get in any entrance. So just carry it with you at all times. As mentioned, there is also a security guard when I went outside, and I actually met plenty of female solo travelers, so I do feel like this hostel is rather safe. The floor layout can be kind of hard to describe, so I'm gonna draw it out. On the first floor, you have check-in, the cafeteria, outside eating tables, and then a laundry and kind of convenience store. Outside restrooms, an office space, and even a museum. Yeah, because that's actually what's really cool about this place and the history of Hong Kong, but we'll get to that later. In Hong Kong, like the ground level is known as ground. Therefore, you're going to have G, 1, 2, 3, 4. So on their level 2, you have an outside seating area that is really peaceful, but everything else is pretty much dorms. I'm pretty sure that it's actually divided between girls on one side and boys on the other. And you may be asking, why would I take the stairs? Well, one feature of this place is the amazing art that you're gonna find everywhere. It's all up and down the stairs, but if you take the elevator, you'll actually have this cool selfie mirror as well. And if you're feeling up for it, you can grab a pen and sign the walls or the ceilings of the downstairs lobby. Even if you're not staying on the upper levels, it's actually worth it to explore the art. I really like art. So when you go to your room, you're gonna use your key card. When you enter the room, don't be alarmed if it's dark. They actually want you to switch the lights off and on per use. You'll find the lights labeled along the hallways. The first thing you'll see are the showers. There are 2 right when you walk in, and then it opens to the main bunk room. On the other side, you'll find 4 matching beds. And this is where you'll also find the lockers. Unfortunately, they don't have locks, but they do have power outlets in them. I also don't think that they're labeled, so I think you can just take whichever one. I didn't get the best footage of this place because I was actually new at filming during this time period, and I don't think I realized what all I needed to film. So I want to try to provide some information where I left out. The bunks actually aren't labeled or numbered. That means you get to choose where you sleep. I actually grabbed one of the bottom bunks because it had this really cool shelf next to it, and I figured that I could put my stuff on that and it would block out the light in the morning. One of the issues with the top bunk that I noticed was there's no place to plug in your phone, so the power outlet was actually right next to my bed. However, my bunkmate above me, she had like an extension cord and her phone kept dropping on my bed, and so there was that. The beds are small, but they're nice. And that's not too bad since they're so cheap. I couldn't really complain about much, especially like as long as it was clean. There was a mirror and that was nice, but girls kept coming over to my bed at all hours of the morning to like check themselves out. And it was kind of cute, but also kind of... One thing that was really hard is being on everyone else's schedule since it's an open room and not like the normal pods that I stay in. If someone else wanted to get up, you were getting up. People would just open and close the curtains. And there's also a walking trail back here. So if you're getting dressed, just be aware. The bathrooms, as you saw, there's like 2 or 3 and there's a line for them in the morning. However, if you need to use the restroom, there's still the restroom downstairs. There isn't really much of a lobby, I would say, or even a kitchen, but what they have instead is a cafeteria where you can buy Western breakfast or traditional Hong Kong breakfast. They have seating inside and out, and if you prefer inside, you'll find these beautiful little table rooms with their own individual art style. Like I said, it's everywhere. If you want to sit outside, there's nice tables with parasols on them, but the humidity can really get to you, depending on which months you go, or really just the time of the day. I was so sad because when I went, the like laundry and convenience store area was actually closed, so I don't have any footage of that. But they do have one, and it's located right here. One of my favorite places to hang out was this cute little beanbag lounge. It was always really peaceful, especially at night. Looking up at the mountains just made me feel some sort of way. It also usually wasn't occupied, and if it was like some guy on his laptop. So that was pretty nice. And if you like to eavesdrop and people watch like I do, you can easily hear all of the conversations going on down below. So like I was saying, this place has one special thing about it. It's actually a piece of history. It's one of the last remaining H buildings from old Hong Kong, and they have a whole museum downstairs dedicated to telling the story of the neighborhood. I don't want to spoil it for you, so we're not going to go into depth. And even though like this place doesn't have all the bells and whistles that some other places do, I find it really special, and I think it's a good idea to stay here. So now we've come to this little spot that I like to call, who is this hostel for? People coming to Hong Kong on a budget that are much more interested in like the culture and the history, as we've talked about. If you're coming to eat at like the fancy restaurants and like the fancy malls and the shopping and stuff, this might not be your place. What you're gonna get around here is more like what the average daily life is for like Hong Kong people, not tourists or fancy Michelin star restaurants. I think that we all know Hong Kong as a place that is very much divided between the old Chinese history and the British invasion, or should I say the British influence side. And really, I wanted to see both. And I personally do believe this is one of the best hostels in all of Hong Kong. And even though it is located a little bit of a distance from the train and everything, once you get on it, it is a straight shot to downtown. So truly, it's not hard to get to any place if you want to stay here but then still go see the posh side. I will say that if you are easily intimidated, this might not be the best place for you. If this is your first time in Hong Kong and you're not really secure with the culture and you're solo, maybe stay in a hotel. This is a side with a lot more of the older generations, so you probably won't get much English here. But if that's not a deterrent, this is truly just a great place to stay. So that's it for this one. I thank you guys again, and I'll see you guys next time.